All right, guys, we are here finally at the end of this anonymous tournament. This has been a pretty serious grind for me. I still didn't get everything together the way I wanted it to, but I'm gonna do the best I can for you guys. Things are gonna be a little bit unorganized. I've learned a ton doing this. I do actually want to do another one in like another 3 or 4 months, something like that. We'll see how I feel down the road, but I would like to do this anonymous tournament again. I think this was a ton of fun, and I learned a lot about how I can do this way, way, way better next time. Have a lot of ideas, and then just ways to do better with the production and kind of get everything smooth. Okay, we're gonna hop into this. I am actually gonna be joined by Worst today. He's one of the players, and he was really, really invested in this stuff today. So it's gonna kind of be nice to have someone here to kind of bounce conversation off of while we hang out with you guys.
Hi, I'm really excited to see how I did with the guesses. Are you gonna show the best guesses from the players and
Yes,
the viewers
I'm
as
gonna
well? That would be
do.
fun to see.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do the reveal for like, yeah, I'm gonna show it all. Like it's all gonna be part of the thing. If there is something you guys like want to know about as I'm going along, if I do leave something out, let me know, and I will be more than happy to go over anything. The more we have to talk about, the better. That's really the whole point of this tournament. Like this today is the reason we just did all of this, pretty much. So hopefully it goes and delivers for you guys. But real quick, just for in case there's someone here that doesn't know exactly what's going on, we just did an anonymous tournament, a 16-man tournament. Nobody knew who anybody was except for me. I'm the only person that knew who all the players was and who was playing who. None of the players, none of you guys, the viewers, nobody knew anything else. Nobody even knew who signed up. We went through the whole tournament. I have some like little bits of like content and stuff, like asking questions, little interviews, things like that I kind of gathered throughout the tournament that we're going to go over today. At the end, we took guesses from players and viewers. The top two viewer guesses, spectators, they're going to get 15 bucks, and the top number one player guess will get another 15 bucks. Those are all closed now, so if anybody that sent their answers in, like that's all locked in. This is what we got. So the most accurately guessed players, one of them's not surprising, which was Zeke. Everybody kind of
Yeah,
knew.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, everybody kind of knew when you watched the Zerg play and dominate. Everyone was like, okay, that guy was Zeke. There's no other Zerg, like, no other foreign Zerg could dominate like that. But he actually tied with someone, which I thought was pretty funny, which was Keen. Everybody but one
Wait,
person,
what?
yeah, everybody guessed Keen correctly as well that put in a guess.
Well, I guess if you're paying attention, it makes sense because there's only three Zergs. Ziki, of course, is gonna do the best. Kavapu probably is second best. Well, no, there's zero as well, right? Yeah, there's
Mm-hmm.
four. But if you had to choose, I'm sorry, Keen, you're a great guy, but realistically, he's the most likely to be the one that lost in the first round, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Here's another fun one for you. The most inaccurately guessed player was actually Dragon. Only one single person correctly guessed Dragon.
Wow. But I want to know how many people guessed Primal before before the bracket was the
Primal's
players
name
were
came up a
revealed.
lot. Yeah, Primal's name actually came up a lot. Yeah, Wolfix, surprisingly, so I can go ahead and talk about.
And
We're all talking about this now, so this is all going to come up. It's not necessarily going to be in the order that I necessarily wrote down. So Wolfix is actually our off-race player. I won't tell you which one he was yet, and he actually got guessed more accurately than Dragon did.
I know I guessed him right. I'm so sure of it. I know how he plays. I've watched his proto streams for so long that I feel like I should know which one's him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What was
That's fair.
surprising to me was even watching all the games, it was hard to know which one was Dragon and which one was Bonus because I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I guess they have a similar style, similar APM as well. I don't know. I guess I may have missed something that was rather obvious, but I guess not just me. If only one person got Dragon right, and that's including the players, right? Like the people that play Dragon.
Yeah. Well, I took out. Well, Dragon didn't actually guess, actually. So yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, there's quite a few players that just didn't even want to try. Okay, so the most inaccurate player guess was Exit. He only guessed 6 correct. Actually, hang on. Sorry, I did get. Let me double check this real quick. Sorry. Okay, well already we're in trouble. Nomad guessed Keen incorrectly
wow.
as Boneth instead, off racing as Zerg. In fact, I said there was one off race and Nomad guessed 3 people off racing. So this.
I mean, at least it gives us something to talk about.
It does give us something to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, he incorrectly guessed Ezeki as Kava.
Oh no.
Wait, so he thought Kava won? Who did he think? Oh, he thought Zeke was off racing as Protoss. Okay.
No, I've seen Zeke's Protoss. He is yeah, he's okay.
All
He
right.
wouldn't win.
So I guess Nomad wins the worst guesses. Then he got 2, counting himself. So
Who else did he get then?
he got his opponent in the first round, correct?
Oh, okay. No
Yeah.
spoilers there then. Just yet.
That's funny. It should actually cost him. I should charge him for that atrocity of a guess. That was horrible. All right, so the next one I have wrote down here is the most edits to their post game. Sorry, the most edits to their post game quote after their loss once they realized it was going to be shown on stream was worst.
Yeah, I was so sure this was coming.
And after that one, I followed up with the most angry after their loss was definitely either worst or Tarson. I couldn't tell for sure. It was pretty close, but yeah, both of them seemed pretty
I
angry.
was so upset just because of what I had to deal with. Just absolutely disgusting experience too in that game when I lost.
I have biggest upset wrote down, but I won't go over that just yet. Just remind me to come back to that if you remember, because that would be pretty big spoilers.
I'm thinking about. I want to talk about the biggest upset, or what I think is the biggest upset, which the people who played attention would probably know.
So my opinion, the 2 biggest upsets, because I actually wrote down 2, was the finals and Master Yi versus Yumi. To me, these are the 2 biggest upsets. You guys you're more than welcome to challenge me on that as we go.
But that means I guessed wrong. Because Master Yi and Yumi must be some 2 players that are far apart in skill, which is crazy. Okay. I haven't done as well as I thought then.
Well,
but whoever it was, they ended up losing to the other Zerg anyways, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, so for me, I wrote, I got down for the coolest game. This is just my personal opinion, and again, if anybody has anything else in mind, keep that, let me know. For me, the coolest game was the PvP going carriers on Litmus. I thought this was actually pretty cool, and the carrier player absolutely could have won this game if they were paying a little bit more attention.
Yeah. That was a fun game, but you know what else I enjoyed? The
What's that?
late game PvZ, where Zerg managed to lose in that position. Or did they? Did they win to win in that position?
No, they lost. It
lose?
was on
Who was
knockout.
it?
You're
They
talking about the
lost,
knockout
okay,
game,
yeah. Yeah, the knockout game was just ridiculous.
Yeah, the knockout game was a really, really crazy game too. Like that was just that was like the most back and forth game where you really couldn't tell who was going to win like the entire time. I have Pimpest play, okay? I couldn't really think of many like cool plays. The only one that came to mind is the one that inspired me to do a highlight reel, which was when Shaco moved Hydras onto the ramp to make that lurker egg to trap those zealots inside. Didn't quite kill like all of the zealots, but I thought it was super cool, and I actually made a clip of it, and we should have sound for this, so let me play this for you guys. This was a play. I thought it was really cool. Like I said, it didn't quite kill all of the zealots, but it was like such a cool thought. Check this out.
It's kind of hilarious, actually.
I loved the
my
thought
gosh,
there. I thought
getting
that was
that
awesome.
lurker,
Oh my god.
that is amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty solid. I guess
The
the
Zerg
Hydra being so low
styling
HP
big time.
is what prompted it, but it's also the reason why it didn't do as much as it could have.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, it is unfortunate that I like took a few hits on the way there, because if it took one less hit, then every single one of those zealots were dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just a really cool thought. So yeah, that's our little statistics section there. So now we're gonna reveal the first round of losers. This is what everybody wants to see, right? So it might take me a second to get this quite right. So the way I've got it set up is, I think if I go over here, so I'm just gonna go through the losers from top to bottom here. So Nasus, I'll edit it, and this is gonna be Keen for this first round. This is the one that pretty much everybody got correct. Okay, so it's not going to, maybe if I refresh. Okay, so refresh does actually do that. Okay.
Nice.
So Keen
like
lost 0-2 in his first round here. And then I'm going to go through, I'm going to reveal all the losers, and then we're going to go over the loser comments from this first round. So yeah, Keen lost that first round. And then next we have, Rammus. Who did you think Rammus was?
I said Sterling because of the APM and the style. Yes, I got it. Nice. Okay, that's a good start.
All right, so we got Sterling for Rammus. The next one, Ornn.
That
think-
one was hard. I was never sure what to,
Yeah,
what to say.
I think Worst knows who this one is. This is actually himself.
Yeah.
So
I
Worst
will,
losing 1-2 to Shaco here in the first round.
refrain from further comments on this one.
And I do want to go real quick to let me find it here. So during this game, it was Keen and New Ocean casting. And New Ocean at one point during the first game said, maybe it's Dragon and he's choking. Keen responded with, Dragon is much more solid than this. Maybe it's Ray Rain. So Worst got called Ray Rain.
I've been called so much worse in that series, man. They were so rude. But that's okay. That's all you have to go off of when you don't know who the players are. So no hard feelings.
Yeah.
I heard there were some hard feelings though. I don't know who, but I bet there were though. The caster were ruthless, man, at times.
A little hard feelings, yeah. So there was also in that first series of Keen versus Nocturne. Worst had asked New Ocean who he thought Zerg was because he's only made Hydras and that could literally be any Zerg. This was the comment that he made, which is kind of a fair statement. And then at one point, New Ocean said, well, we'll get to that one. Sorry, that's a different one, so we'll come back to that one. But all right, moving on.
I stand by that.
So Aatrox is going to be our next reveal. What do you think, Worst? What was your guess?
I said Ether or Aether, but I'm really not sure. I got nothing here. Wow, I'm a god.
It is
Look at me.
actually Aether.
Wow. What did Wolfix guess? Wolfix said Tarson.
Yeah,
Wow.
Wolfix
You know what
guessed
I would
Tarson.
really like to pair with this, Ozzy? Maybe you like it, maybe it's too much work. I would like to compare to what the people guess, especially, you know, the viewers and the players at like, you know, the bracket. I guess it's kind of hard to show, but you could say
It's hard for me to
what
show, but I
Wolfix
can guess
guessed
it.
was.
Okay, that's actually a good idea. So I can go through all that.
You could mention like what Wolfix said and what Zeke said and so on.
Yeah, because there was only 4 player guesses. Well, I guess 5 if you count Nomad, but we're just going to kind of ignore Nomad's guesses. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, we can do that.
Poor Nomad, man. All right, so I'll start from bottom. Exit had guessed that for Rammus, which was Sterling, he had guessed Wolfix, so he thought that that was Wolfix playing in that game. And then here for Aether, as Aatrox, he guessed Nesh.
Yeah, man, everybody got things wrong. I'm the only one who, damn, I'm good at
There's-
this.
yeah.
I wonder what Keen guessed. I heard Keen was tryharding this. What
Yeah.
did he say?
Yeah, we'll get to that. So Wolfix did get King correctly. He had guessed Rammus as... Wait, you said Tarson? No, you didn't guess him as Tarson. Oh, Aatrox as Tarson, yeah. So he guessed Aatrox as Tarson. As for Rammus, he had guessed Exit. Keen guessed, obviously himself correct. He guessed Rammus as Aether, and he guessed Aatrox as Exit. So, like, a lot of people missed it. All right, so Zeke did guess... Wait, did he get Keen correctly? Okay, yeah, he did get Keen correctly. I wonder how much of this was, like, complete, like, randomness from Zeke.
I bet that was blind luck. He probably asked someone, hey, what MMR is Keen? And he said, okay, that's Keen.
Yeah, so he got King correctly. He got Sterling correct. Okay.
Wow.
And he got Aether correct.
How would he possibly know what Aether plays like?
But here's the funniest part about Zeke getting that correct. He guessed Aether. He originally put Aeternum. And I was like, Aeternum's not in the tournament. And he goes, oh, who is Aether? I was like, he's a Terran player. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he swapped it around and got it correct after he swapped it.
I mean, we take it, I guess.
Yeah, we take it. All right, so going to the next player then. So we're going to have Malzahar. Okay. I'll ask you yours here in a second. So I can go this a little bit quicker now since we're just going to be doing one. All right, so for this one, Zeke guessed. For Malzahar, he guessed Nesh, which is also what Worst guessed.
Yep. Malzahar was slow to leave, which is what I based my guess off of.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting style as well. And it was Nesh.
It was,
Look at that.
in fact, Nesh. So Worst kind of on a roll right now. Let's see. Keen had guessed. Man, I wish everybody put in the order from the list, man. This makes it so hard for me to follow. It's completely scrambled. I should have reorganized this. Yeah, yours was like super easy to follow. Like super easy to follow. So for Malzahar, he put Sterling. Wolfix guessed Sterling as well. Stop the count. I got it wrong. And Exit guessed Tarson. So for Master Yi, I think I'm not gonna go through it. It's too long for me. It's too hard for me to find everything.
You're right. You're right.
So we're just gonna have Worst. Worst. What was your guess on Master Yi?
You said this one was a big upset, so I'm not so confident. I said this was range that lost. So I would be surprised if it was someone else because it could be Dragon, but I don't know. It was Range. Look at that.
All right, so Range lost 2-0 to Yumi. Moving on to Blitzcrank. So we got Blitzcrank coming up next. He lost 0-2 to Galio, who did actually make it to the finals. And this is going to
This
be
was
Tarson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Obviously,
You could
Wolfix. Obviously, this was
He's-
Tarson, Wolfix.
I'm pretty sure this is the only player that played Upgrade Terran against Protoss. And that's, I mean, who else? Or was it Sterling that played? I might be confusing them. There's so many games, Ozzy. I don't even know what's
There's a lot of
happening.
games. What was your question? What are you asking? Because it's all stored up here. I got it all.
Me?
Yeah,
I don't
well-
remember.
Okay.
I don't remember.
I'm gonna let it go. All right, and then
Let's
moving
see the
on,
last one.
Gragas, the last player that lost here, is gonna be Exit.
Yep.
So our 5 Terrans that all got destroyed in the first round. Sterling, right? Aether, Nesh, and Exit Tarson, which means that our off racer has to be Wolfix at this point. So we know that Wolfix is the off race player. All right. So now we're gonna swap over to kind of the comments. I'm gonna bring these up, and I'm just gonna bring up some of the answers from the people that lost in this first round. So we're just gonna take it from the top. We got Nasus plus Keen, and basically my question to every single player was, who do you think you played and why? Right? So Keen said, I'm not really sure. Maybe Raz. The playstyle wasn't super distinct, but it did feel like playing him in the past. So he thought he played against Raz. My question is, should I reveal now who they played against as I go? Do you think?
I think that makes more sense because otherwise we're gonna forget what everyone said and it's
Yeah,
gonna be so
it
hard
kinda
to keep
takes
track. I would say go loser, what they thought. Now you reveal the winner and what the winner thought, and then you move on.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Because otherwise we're gonna forget. Like there's like 16 players at this point.
Oh, I didn't quite get everything on, but that's fine. I'll just have to tell you guys since it's not all quite here. So yeah, Keen thought he played against Raz, who he actually played against, and this is going to give away the rest of the votes as well, or the guesses, but that's fine. So he thought he played against Raz, but it was actually Boneth that Keen played against.
I got it. Look
Yeah.
at that.
When I asked Boneth who he thought I played against, his answer was, I don't know. I don't pay attention. I'm going to be really bad at this. And so that was it. That was all he had to
That's
say.
underwhelming, man. Yeah. I wonder if this plays a part in his future matches in this series, because we'll cross a bridge when we get there, actually.
Yeah. All right, so next we had Sterling losing. Sterling's answer, pretty good. Halfway through the game one, I was sure it was Primal, but then I changed my mind, and now I think it was Ranged. I said, okay, thanks. Then he said, possibly Nomad, but I think Ranged. In game one, there were moments where I took my foot off the gas super hard because I was certain it was Primal.
That's so funny, because
And-
I think it was Dragon.
So it was, in fact, Dragon that Sterling played against. And he thought it was Primal at multiple points in the game, which is hilarious to me. Dragon, who is like really freaking good, was getting confused with Primal. And Sterling's not the only person that thought it was Primal at certain points, by the way. I just want to point that out.
Can we also talk about how many players said, or like Castor said, oh, this could be Goose, but Goose isn't even part of this tournament and was
Oh, yeah,
not
yeah,
a part of it.
So poor freaking Goose. Let me find that. Yeah, Goose was catching strays the entire tournament. Like every single time Zerg made a mistake or a miss micro or anything wrong, or they thought the build was weird, they were like, "Oh, it could be Goose." Like every single mistake meant it could be Goose. But this one was my favorite one. Okay, Remap
Yeah,
was
I bet.
100% convinced that Droney was in the tournament, and the person he confused Droney with was Zeke.
Wow. I mean, that's not even remotely close. I remember you saying this, and I thought that was wild because it was so obvious. It couldn't be Droney, because Droney is shit. I mean, E rank.
Yeah. Like Droney
quite
is
an
like
insult.
legitimately like mid B, high B, and Zeke is like the best foreigner Zerg on the planet. So to mix those two up is hilarious to me. But he was so convinced, like he knew that that's what was happening.
Yeah, that's funny. I guess the best part was before we need the player list, when everyone was just taking wild guesses.
Yeah.
When we get down the list, I'm also gonna mention what I wrote down for Galio, as I was watching the first round. But we have a few more until then.
Yeah, okay. So next we're gonna move on to worst. All right, Worst, I'll let you read this one for me in your voice.
It was clearly 0, no doubt about that. Latency at playtimes and 100 reschedules check out. But most importantly, he's the only one who plays this inbred turtle style, which is too bad because he's good at many other styles. I can't believe I said this. It goes on, true. I think if given a month, I could teach an actual rodent to play turtle style and beat 2K plus MMR players. And I stand by that, and I will always stand by that. It's crazy. Now, not to take anything away from the rodent, but isn't it insane how you can just be so bad and still have success? It's again, I do think Zero is a great player, but it's crazy you can play like this. This was from the bottom of my heart.
From
man,
the bottom
listening
of
to
his
that
heart.
shit.
This was
It's
definitely
just
not
crazy.
edited a couple times over 100%.
No. This was the first iteration too of it. Don't worry.
Yeah, it was one of those moments where Worst gave us his answer, and I was like, Worst, this is gonna be on stream. Are you sure you want that to be what you said? So love it. I love it.
I stand by it. You made me read it, so it kind of evens out, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
It's accountability that matters.
Aatrox / Aether. So Aether's answer coming up next. His answer was
Wait, you forgot
oh,
to
sorry.
mention...
So
Yeah, 0.
yeah, so Worst was correct. He did play against 0, so he hit the nail on the head on that one. I mean, his answer clearly, like, he's 100% certain, right? Like, it's he was pretty confident. So yeah, he was correct. That was actually 0. All right, so moving on to Aether. Aether's answer. I don't know. He's a pretty chill person. He said, "Let me look at the channel list. I don't even know who is Zerg. Ha ha ha. I'll say Hayek." I said, "Okay." I don't know. He's like, "I don't even know who Hayek is." He's just completely guessing at random. So Aether, he just gets on and he grinds and he doesn't really know or care who
Yeah,
is
he
who.
can play anyone. He doesn't give a damn. But I'm surprised. I wonder if he's played Zerg. You're gonna reveal who it was now, right? Or not?
Yeah, he played against
How
Zerg.
are we? No. Like who the Zerg was.
Yeah. So he played against Zeke, which is what everybody guessed.
Yeah.
Like nobody missed that one.
I forgot. I thought he played against the other one.
Yeah. So he played against Zeke. Zeke blasted him, and he's like, "I don't know, it could be Hayek. I don't even know who Hayek is." So Aether was really locked in just for the games, man. All right, moving on to Nesh's game. He played against a Zerg player. He said, "Sure." Oh, sorry, wrong one. Oh, the other one disappeared on me. Sorry. So this is the first one. He said, "Kava, because he's bad." And then I asked him, I was like, "Are you sure you want that to be your answer?" And he's like, "Yeah." Or he said, "Sure, might be PB because he's bad."
That's so funny. It's in line with my experience with Nesh last time we played, but I deserved that one. But this is still pretty good.
It's
This
good.
is the kind of content we made this for. This is exactly it. Not the I don't know, maybe, you know.
Yeah. So if we know about recent lore, so Worst played against Nesh in a series recently where he was winning by a lot, and Nesh is a little notorious for overstaying in games where it's pretty much completely doomed, but he'll keep playing, okay? And this does open up the opportunity to be kind of trolled a little bit. Worst did a couple mind controls against him, and it made Nesh very, very irritable. Well, in his game against Zerg, I think he was okay because he GG'd. I think he actually even GG'd in the second one, but he was clearly upset about it because there was a proxy hatchery made inside of his base. Like, he made the hatchery in his base.
Yeah, that's just what happens, man. I respect I respect his opponent for that, you know.
Yeah. And yeah, it was Kava, as Worst was
Not
about to say.
surprised.
So
The only Zerg left, you know.
yeah. So Kava is the Zerg that dropped his proxy hatchery on Nesh. And one thing that's funny about it in that series, so Keen thought it might be PB most of the series as well, until that proxy hatchery came down, and then he said, "Oh, it might be Kava," because PB wouldn't
pretty
do
good.
that. And that's actually going to be mentioned in I'm going to be showing interviews later. I'm going to play a couple interviews that actually came up with Kava, and it's actually pretty hilarious. Early on, Keen thought it might have been Zeke because there was the scout pattern of him scouting the middle like Zeke did.
Yeah, that's how I got Zeke as well the first time.
And during that series, Hawk thought that Nesh might be. At one point, he said, "This is." I don't know if Hawk was trolling or what was going on. Hawk said, "It's either Sterling or Moonrai." Oh, actually, I think I know who this is. It's Aether, but maybe not. Gotta be either Aether or Pandor. this
And then he was
all
sure
like,
it was Pandor.
yeah. And at one point, he mentioned that it could be Gypsy. Like, Hawk basically guessed every Terran that plays by the end of that first game. But he
Yeah.
did eventually settle on Pandora by the end of it. But it was actually Nesh.
That's a pretty good compliment, though. If he thought that, then he wasn't memeing.
And then there's one more really funny Hawk quote from that first game where he said he was pretty confident, and then he dubbed the Zerg as Goose. And Keen asked if he was sure that it was Goose, and Hawk responded with, "I would hope so, because," and then he paused, "I really hope it's not any other Zerg. That would concern me even more." So
Damn. Poor Kava, man.
Ford Kava. All right, moving on to ranged. Okay.
So this was the carrier series, was it?
No, this was against
No,
Yumi.
okay.
This is where he played against like the 12 Nexus, and
Yeah, the 12 Nexus and 2 Gate and stuff.
so I didn't actually talk to him on Discord. So sorry for the blank screen, I didn't do it in text. I talked to him in voice, and he said overall almost certain that I played against Nomad, but based on the first game, I also thought it might be Simi. I actually forgot what happened in the first game that made him say that, but I think the second game,
That was the 12 Nexus,
this is the second game that was 12 Nexus, and that was why.
was it?
Yeah, so the 12 Nexus is why a lot of people started putting out Nomad's name.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Nomad was the other Protoss player, so it was Range versus Nomad. And this is kind of why I thought it was an upset. A lot of people guessed it the other way around, that it was Ranged beating Nomad. Almost nobody picked Nomad beating Ranged in that series.
Yeah, that makes sense, but no, Range doesn't really play this 12 Nexus style, so it could only be one way, but I was still surprised. You got 2 0'd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Nomad gave me the most Nomad answer. Yeah, I know it's black. I just don't have anything to put on there right now. Nomad gave me the most Nomad answer, which was, he said, all he said was Simi, and then he was like, do I only get one guess? So he didn't understand the concept of what we were doing, and that's fine. We love Nomad. He does his best. And next up we have Blitzcrank, aka Tarson, and he said his guess was DeWalt, bad latency, super good, or I'm freaking terrible, can't tell.
That's pretty funny too. Yeah, I will say about this game, I said something really funny in my notes. I sent it to you as well. I said, when I was watching this game, I said Primal APM and Gate Scout with no Zealot, question mark. So at least during the first series, I considered that this might be Primal, which is even worse than the other guess about Zeke and Droney, if you ask me.
Actually true. Especially because this actually is DeWalt. So Tarson was correct that this is actually DeWalt. So poor DeWalt got dubbed as Primal at one point. Actually more than one point.
I'm sorry.
And then moving on to our last one, which if you guys haven't done the math yet, this means that Worst actually got a perfect score.
I'm so good at this. That's crazy.
And Exit said, this is 100% Moonrise, and I can't believe I lost to him twice. I don't swear, so we're gonna sub Dogwater, unit control, and crutched by carriers. Even Observer say I'm winning all game and out executing. But it was not Moonrise, it was Wolfix, so
yeah, Wolfix has his special style when he just makes gateway units and runs over Terran and basically wins, kind of, and then he goes into something else. But this time it was carriers, and when I saw that, I was so sure it's gonna be him.
Yeah. So right, I'm gonna go ahead and go through and update all the players here. So Nocturne was Boneth, Trundle was Dragon, and we can talk about the games a little bit and kind of why some of this is kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah, I can't wait to do that now that we've revealed it. I don't know. I guess we just start from the top, right?
Yeah.
I'll wait for you to finish editing these. This is Kava.
Nomad for Yumi. Galio was DeWalt.
I know, right? The ocean.
And Pantheon was Wolfix.
I mean, the first thing I'm really wondering, it would have been nice to know is, did Zeke know who he was playing as of like the semis, and did Bonnet know who he was playing, and did the world know? That's what I want to know. Did you ask for all of the games or only the round of 16?
It was the round of 16. That would be
really
in round of 2, I asked them during interviews. So I have interviews that I'm going to play for you guys here in a moment.
Okay.
Yeah, that I've actually done like recordings of. So I'll get to that when we get there. So give me a minute, we'll get to those. And it really kind of proved the point of what I was trying to do with this whole tournament in the first place. It really kind of came together the way I wanted it. But yeah, you guys will see when we get there. Okay, we can go over the spectator guesses. So just real quick, our winner is going to be Worst for players. Like I said, he got a perfect score, correctly guessed every single player. So awesome job by Worst. He definitely put, I think, the most work into it as well.
I did, yeah.
Zeke ironically got second place with 10.
Wow.
And it was kind of funny because with Zeke, so looking at this, someone said, I think it was King. King said to me, well, it makes sense that Zeke actually scored really well because he got really far into the tournament, right? Well, Zeke only guessed 2 of his opponents correctly. He actually got 2 of them wrong. Actually, we can just go over the other players real quick. So let me just go ahead and swap over to this. We can just go over the rest of the players since we got it all revealed. So Dragon said only one word, Sterling.
That is great. That is amazing. I like that.
He did not care to elaborate. He really
Yeah.
just felt like the game kind of said it all. I mean, we had that like absolutely retarded 3 racks, like randomness that Sterling was doing in the second game, and I think that's what really drug it home.
Yeah, that's what sealed it for me as well. And I feel like I bet this feels good because they played in BSL, I think 1 or 2 BSLs ago, and Sterling won, and this is like, the revenge, I guess.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons, so you remember I did the KCM actually at one point. One of the reasons that Dragon
Yeah.
joined the KCM was because he saw that Sterling was playing and he wanted to get him back. So that was actually
That's
his
funny.
motivation for playing in the KCM originally.
Like, I like this rivalry. Yeah, I
Yeah.
figured there was something there.
Moving on, we're going to move to Zero. He said, judging by the people who are on Discord, I would say that that was Nomad or G5. It may be worse. And I don't know why I didn't cut this out, but when will I find out?
When I will find out. Yeah,
When I will find out.
he got a pretty good guess, actually.
Yeah.
I guess you can kind of tell by the latency, though, because we had one of our MS. He wouldn't get that to NA. You would get like 125, 150, most of the time at least.
And then moving on, Wolfix's answer. I feel like I either played some off-brace Terran or someone who didn't play for a while. Reason is the style he played. So he was referring to the upgrade style, which is like really, really not common.
Yeah, I guess that is true. Exit does not play, except for a bit of ladder, I guess.
Yeah, it was actually like a pretty educated guess, but unfortunately, I think he still got his opponent wrong, even though he like kind of got it right, like as far as like the stylistic matchup, but didn't quite put it together. Retorted move outs, yeah. He does like attack completely at random.
Who else is left? The world, right?
And then I don't have the other ones on here yet, so I'm just gonna read them to you. Zeke, when I asked him when he played against Aether, he said, good question, maybe remap. Well, the King's Challenge game was not so far in my today's opponent style was similar. He tried some aggression early with his Marines. He tried to catch the Overlord. He played with many racks fortified. I thought this was actually kind of interesting because he thought it was remap because he just played remap, and Aether kind of learned a lot from remap. So it makes sense that he kind of confused that with remap.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I actually thought that was pretty good. And then DeWalt's answer was kind of funny. So he played against Tarson, and he said, I think it was Razui or Wolfix. One of these guys, or both, likes to put a lot of ultras at the start of the game and put some pressure with them. I thought this was funny because
That's
he
really
guessed,
funny. Yeah, he just profiled Poland,
That's
and
exactly
Polish
it.
Terrans.
He just guessed 2 of the Polish Terrans, but it was actually a different Polish Terran. Like, I think that's too funny, dude.
That's great, yeah.
Cover
I want to
now.
add something
Yep.
funny here about how I was able to tell that Dragon played, it was Dragon against Sterling, is when they were casting, Dragon does this really funny thing where he just walls his third on Radion with like 6 pylons in a straight line, which is not the most efficient way. And I haven't seen anyone else do this. And I was like, okay, that only leaves one person.
So he's done that before?
Yeah, I watched I downloaded the replay to confirm. That's how tryhard I was in this. And I was like, okay, he does this, yeah. Look at Wolfix saying, is he picked Nomad? Yeah, that makes sense. No, it was a good giveaway.
Poor Dragon, man. Well, Dragon even said, like, when he watched the stream, he told me after too in Discord, he was like, man, I didn't realize how bad it was till I was listening to everyone, like watching the games and listening to everybody. He was like kind of ashamed almost. But I think a lot of players probably felt this way watching and listening.
Yeah, I felt that way too.
Yeah.
Especially hitting to freaking Neo Ocean cast my game and say how he would have won that. Neo Ocean, man, you should play against Zero.
Yeah,
Let's see how you do.
That's kind of the thing. Like that's one of the funny things about it is now if you go back and rewatch the games with the cast and stuff, it's like watching a whole new experience.
Yeah,
right? It actually like changes the entire outlook on everything. Wolfix pointed out, which I agree, is that it's really interesting how critical people are of the players when they don't realize they're watching a good player. All right, so I'm gonna move on here to the next little bit. Okay, the spectator guesses. Our two winners are gonna be New Ocean with 6. Correct.
That's it?
Yeah, just 6.
Damn.
And G5 actually in second place with 4.
I thought G5 would do a lot better, honestly, because
Yeah,
he
it
was
was-
here. He was invested.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that G5 did not do better as well.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's going to be our 3 winners for the $15. It's going to be New Ocean, G5, and Worst. So that takes care of that. And now we can move on to the interviews. So let me get this together real quick. And we're going to start with Kava's. Or actually, no, sorry. Let me do this. 2 of them were in text. So both Zeke and DeWalt didn't want to do voice calls because they didn't really feel that good about doing it in English. So I guess I can go back to this here for now, and I'll just read. I'm going to read these 2 interviews for you guys, and then I have the 2 that I got recorded. So we'll start with DeWalt. These are pretty short, the ones that I did in text. But my first question, I said, your last game was a PvP, and you played some pretty, we'll say, interesting builds. Who do you think you played against, and what did you think about the games, especially the Litmus game? He said, it was a pretty standard answer to carriers from my side. Dark Archon is the best option against fast carriers, I think. Who was my opponent? I think it's Worst. I only remember the Litmus game, though.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, your name actually came up quite a bit. So,
Did it?
yeah. So,
Words
DeWalt,
gets me.
yeah, I don't know. DeWalt confused Worst with a Wolfix off racing as Protoss. How does that make you feel, by the way, Worst?
I feel like he shouldn't, man, because when he lost to me when the world was playing Terran, Gypsmug, I was playing standard, so he should know I'm a pretty standard player. At least I like to think so. But yeah, I think Wolfix could have won that game for sure.
Absolutely.
You said the same thing, Ozzy. It was a wild game. I don't know.
He-
I kind of want to watch that one back now, knowing the players. Because it never crossed my mind that I would be the world until this player, the Galio, kept winning and got to the finals. And then I was like, yeah, because it's not Bonus style to play like this. So that only leaves one.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really unfortunate, Wolfix. Your interceptors were getting vision of the Dark Archons, but it was like at the top of your camera, so you probably just didn't even notice, like top left outside of vision. But yeah, if you caught those Dark Archons, you absolutely win that game, which would have been crazy. Like
Yeah.
if we'd be here sitting, if we'd be sitting here today, being like, yeah, Wolfix beat DeWalt with a carrier rush game, like off racing as Protoss PvP, like that'd be wild. But unfortunately, we don't have that. So I said, I'm curious, what does it feel like from the players? And this is something I asked to like every player. So I'm curious, what does it feel like from the player's perspective, just creating a lobby, then having a player suddenly show up? Does it change your approach at all, thinking that you guys actually know each other? He said, it doesn't really change my approach to the game. I'm just trying to play my game as good as possible, no matter who I face. But that's me, who is definitely better than most of the non-Korean players. For most of the people, I think it's better when you don't know if you play against, let's say, me or Bonnet or Zeke, since you're just trying to play your best game and not thinking about the name of your opponent. So I like this kind of tournament.
Yeah, I like what he said here a lot. I agree with that.
Yeah, I completely agree with that statement. And yeah, it was kind of interesting, like what he said. It kind of brought to my attention that the like really good players don't have to worry about really anything other than each other, right?
Yeah.
Whereas everybody else is like, they're going into the game being like, oh, am I against like a god? Am I against someone that's more my level? Like they're actually like having to think about it. But for DeWalt and Bonaziki, it's like, yeah, I'll just go and crush whoever this guy is, as long as it's not, one of the other guys. I said, yeah, I like that approach. It's been interesting because I actually had a few players say that they purposely were going easier because they thought they were versus a worse opponent, aka Sterling. And it actually cost them a couple games. Haha, it's fun seeing how players actually act differently without knowing who they're against. So last question for you. You have a PVZ coming up, and there's another PVZ on the other side of the bracket. Are there any players you're particularly worried about? You mentioned Bonnet and Zeke. Do you think you'd be able to recognize pretty easily if it were one of those players? He said, since I've played tons and tons of games against those guys, I think it would be extremely easy for me to know which one or who they are.
I would love to know if that ended up being true as we go down the bracket.
Yes, it was true.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, he immediately knew. Like after the finals, he was like, "Okay, I played Zeke." He's like, "I'm glad." He's like, "I'm lucky I didn't get Zeke last round." That's what he said.
Huh. But he left really early. I was surprised. Why did he end up leaving so fast?
Yeah, so I don't want
those
to.
games.
I don't want to take away from Zeke too much. But part of why we had to move the tournament up 3 hours was because DeWalt, when we originally scheduled everything, didn't realize that he was going to be flying that day, and we had to knock the tournament out before he was on a plane.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
because
he-
it felt like he was rushing to leave. I thought maybe he's tilted, but this makes a lot more sense. Yeah, of course, Zeke played great, and they would be evenly matched
Mhm.
in any other scenario. But yeah, that does kind of make sense for why he left so fast. Just get
Yeah.
it over with, especially after he lost the first two, thinking, okay, I have to win 3 games now to end this. It's probably better to just do it this way, right?
Yeah. I think he technically still had time, but he wasn't home, right? He was talking about playing from home and
Yeah.
stuff, and that it can be really hard. But again, I don't want to take away from Zeke because Zeke absolutely crushed it that day. He beat
Yeah.
Bonnet, right? Like,
Yeah, that
okay,
was he played great.
yeah, and he beat Icarus that morning as well. Like, he played some hard games all day that day.
Yeah, and I think it deserves too. I mean, Zeke is a great player. He's been active recently, and not only just winning the prize, but just actually beating good players, whether
Mhm.
they are good or not.
Yeah. All right. So that's DeWalt's interview. Pretty much, we're gonna move on to Zeke's real quick, and then I'll start playing the other two. Kind of the same questions, more or less. I said, "Who do you think you just beat? And what did you think about the games?" And I'm gonna try to paraphrase a bit. Love Zeke. English not his main language, so we'll do our best here. He said, "Honestly, I have no idea right now. I'm sure he was not so bad, but around maximum B rank." So he's talking about his game against Zero. Around maximum B rank because Micro was not good, and he just got it with his drone in the second game, which doesn't exist in high level ZVZ.
That's so funny.
Which is funny because, like, in my eyes, I feel like Zero's like kind of like at his level. I feel like he's like a ZVZ expert.
I think Zero's good. I've never seen him play ZVZ though, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I feel like he's kind of a ZVZ specialist. He does really good in that matchup. He beats a lot of really good players ZVZ, but it just kind of
Oh
shows
yeah, he
that.
beat Striker, right? A
Yeah,
few
yeah,
times.
he beat Striker. He dumpstered Julia. Yeah, he's been doing really well. But yeah, it just kind of shows that gap, I guess, where Zero, who's like really good for his level at ZVZ, which is like high A, sometimes hits S, right?
Yeah.
And then Zeke plays against him. He's like, yo, this guy sucks.
Yeah, that's funny. And I guess he can. I don't know if it's surprising to me or not that he can get a relatively good estimate of someone's skill just from playing them like that without
Yeah.
even knowing who like the options are. Like if it was me playing, yeah, I kind of know everyone, but Zeke doesn't. So
Yeah. He's done a good job of it. I said, that's understandable. Do you feel like the competition has been a bit too easy for you so far then? And he said, yes, if I want to be honest. And then he did a smiling face, which is fair because up to that point he had played Aether,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
Zero.
Oh my god, poor Aether catching strays.
Well, listen, I love
It's
Aether.
true,
And
it's
Aether's
true,
come
yeah.
a long way, but we're talking like a
Yeah.
700 MMR gap. Like,
That's true.
yeah. I said, all right, fair enough. I'm curious what it feels like from your perspective. How does it feel as a player to just have someone show up to play against? You don't know who they are or how good they will be. It's almost like an unranked ladder game, right? Except you probably actually know each other. I've had some players tell me they started taking it easy. Yeah, I mentioned Sterling a lot. I said, do you feel that anyway? Do you feel that way or are you just trying to take every game super serious? He said, I'm basically playing Brood War because of the money. Otherwise, I will not play nowadays. So when money is on the line, I'm always trying to be very serious. Of course, when I see someone like you trying to do something new, I can play a little bit to help or something. But yeah, the main reason is the money. So like I said, I'm trying to work through this. I love Zeke. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair answer. I'm glad he's winning things. It's just the phrasing is kind of unfortunate because I don't know. I think almost everyone except Zeke and the world just end up playing for well, many different reasons, but certainly not money, But I'm glad he's won this then. In that case, he deserves it.
Yeah. And I think it's really cool that he's like showing support for what I'm doing. And
Yeah,
actually
that too,
looks
of
really
course.
rad. I like really appreciated that from Zeke because it's not like Zeke and I know each other, but he just appreciates that I'm putting on stuff. So I really like that he threw that in there. Of course, kind of a little bit of flattery for me, I guess.
I agree with him as well.
He said, because of this, I don't really like that I don't know who my opponent is, because he said, basically, I'm always trying to play as good as I can, even if I know I'm the better player. I don't play for fun, because I always give respect to the opponent, except, of course, if it BMs, that's a different thing. Very fair. That's like the fairest answer.
Yeah. He says this, but I think Zeke is the kind of person who would benefit a lot from not knowing who his opponent is, especially against, DeWalt and Barnes.
I 100% agree. I think Zeke actually does have a mental block, and I feel like he kind of proved it yesterday.
Yeah,
When he, I mean, honestly, his games, if you go back and watch him, his games against Boneth were amazing. Like, he played so freaking good against Boneth. It was crazy. It's probably the best ZVP I've ever seen out of Zeke, was that series.
Yeah, it was amazing. I wondered at what point Barnes realized, oh, wait, I'm actually playing a really good guy. I'm gonna get freaking blasted, you know?
I said I like that approach. I can definitely see it being difficult too, not knowing how good your opponent is. It makes it hard to know if some things are mistakes or if they're just being tricky because you just don't know their level. Kind of the thing, what we all experience on ladder, right? I said, well, I'm not sure if you've seen many of the games so far, but the round of A will be cast next Monday or Tuesday. Should be at least give you a better idea of how strong your opponent is before you play them. Last question: you're guaranteed to have a ZVP next. How do you feel about your ZVP currently? And are there any Protoss players you'd be worried about facing in the next round? He said, yeah, I'll check those games. Well, ZVP in this tournament is just so scary because of both DeWalt and Bonneth, so I'm not going to be very
Ah,
confident.
that's funny that he says that.
Yeah.
That's really funny. And then he ends up wiping the floor with them anyway, which is, yeah, as Wolfik said, I think it did him really good that he didn't know when he played them, right?
Mhm. Yeah. All right, so we're going to go over the next two interviews. I'm just going to play them for you guys. Hey guys, I'm here with Kavapu. He just won his series against Yumi as ZVP. He's now taken out a Terran player and a Protoss player, so he's going to be our next qualifier for the semifinals. Kava, who do you think you just played against, and why? What do you think about the games?
Against Yumi, right?
Yeah, against Yumi.
Yeah. I think it has to be Nomad. There's just no doubt about it. Well, first of all, in game number 1, I went 9 pull,
Mhm.
and he almost died to it, right?
It was
And
very
Nomad
close,
always
yeah.
goes, Nomad always goes late, Forge, and then he doesn't check for the build, whether it's over pull or 9 pull. I guess he does it, but it's sort of late when he does it,
Mhm.
and he always tries to get away with it just one cannon. Nobody else does that,
Yeah, that's
which
fair.
he does. But he has to pull like, depends on the map, but he has to pull 3 to 5 probes blocking it, and he thinks it's a good response, but it's actually worse than just making 2 cannons.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I won't confirm or deny who you think that you played against, but I will say, when we were listening to the cast, and I was actually pointing it out, they thought it was a good start for Protoss, and then a little bit later, they kind of like were looking at it and they're like, wait, why is he down like so many workers? He's not ahead at all. And I was, kind of trying to point it out. I was like, guys, we have like 6 probes sitting in the wall here. Like, he's not
Yeah,
mining, so yeah.
I guess even if you just if you put 2 probes blocking it for a minute or two, I think it's worse than making 2 cannons
Yeah.
from just start. And a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
And yeah, and also Nomad and I played, like hundreds of
lot,
games
yeah.
against each other since we were in LOM, right?
Mhm.
So the way the series played out felt exactly like all of the games that we played in the past. Like sometimes Nomad just dies to a Hydra bust,
Yep.
or he dies to a 5-hatch Hydra timing a lot as well, which he did in game number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And other times we would just end up playing a very late game because he just loves to expand.
Yeah.
He loves to get 3rd Nexus and 4th Nexus, 5th even, and tries to get away with it using Storm. That's what happened in game number 2. So, yeah, I would have to say it was Nomad that I played.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of funny. I mean, you're obviously pretty confident. You're describing his playstyle and everything pretty much exactly as it happened in the game. So I will say it's funny to me, as from my end, and I've got all the information. It's funny to me because you're so confident that it's Nomad, and your opponent, when I asked him who he thought he was against, he thought it was PBJT. He was convinced that it was PBJT, and then after a little bit he thought about it, he was like, maybe Kava, but I'm pretty sure it was PB. So it's just kind of funny that from your perspective you've got him like completely dialed in, and then from his perspective, even though you played like so many games together, he thought it was somebody that he almost never plays. I thought that was kind of funny.
Well, kind of sounds like I may be just as wrong as what he predicted,
Mm-hmm.
right? It could possibly be someone else. I know a lot of Protoss player around mid A level play very similar.
Yeah.
They tend to be a little greedy always. try to get away with it with Storm. So it wouldn't be a big surprise if it was another
Yeah.
European Protoss player.
Yeah, I think a lot of the
I could
B-rank
name-
players.
I could list a few names, but really no point because they play very similar. Maybe
Yeah.
it could have been someone like, I don't know, Lancer,
Mhm.
Lancer X, or Dexter. You know, those
Yeah,
Protoss
yeah.
lines that have similar MMR. I'm kind of surprised. He thought I was PBJT. I actually have less knowledge in how exactly PB plays. I think he plays a little more consistently with
Mhm.
all the builds. In the series that I played, I think I played different build every time.
Yeah, you did. In
Um,
both matchups.
yeah, yeah. In the earlier matchup, I played horribly.
You're a
And
ZVT.
I was just really tired, and I won all the non-standard games,
Yeah.
and I'm usually more confident in the more standard games, and it was my first game, I think in a couple of weeks or something. I can't remember.
Mhm. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I don't know if you heard the cast, but Keen was actually, he started to think, at first he thought, that series against Tyranny, he thought it was PBJT as well, but then he was talking about how, like, maybe it could be Kava because Kava tends to be, kind of tired and takes a little bit to, like, get up and get going, because at first he thought the mechanics were pretty bad as well, kind of like what you were saying, you felt like you weren't playing well, and Keen kind of noticed that, and he was like, oh, it's definitely not Kava because it's kind of ugly, and then it wasn't until you made the hatchery in your opponent's base that he was like, okay, this might actually be Kava. It's
That-
definitely not PV.
I actually heard that. And what he exactly said was, he had to roll out PBJT because I
Yeah.
don't think he's as rude, and he immediately said my name, and that means a lot. And I mean, how many times could he have seen me do that
No,
over the
it's-
past years?
Yeah,
Right?
it is interesting. It just kind of tells you what he thinks of you as a person, huh? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah, I mean, I remember doing like getting a queen to get infested command
Mhm.
center a couple of times. It was based off what he saw from there,
Yeah.
but he's not wrong. I do that when I get the chance. I just don't get the chances.
Mm-hmm.
Like building hatcheries in base in my opponent's base,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
And Nesh has he's a little bit infamous for maybe overstaying in games that he's lost, so I kind of gave you that opportunity to show that side of yourself a little bit, I guess.
Oh, that was Nesh.
God dang it. I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, I already told you I thought it was Sterling.
Yeah.
Because out of the 3 games he played mech 2 times, and nobody else really does that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he opened 2 ports straight. Second game, you don't go into mech after that. So I thought it has to be a player who really likes to play mech in TVZs. So that was my first guess. My second guess was actually Exit,
Yeah.
because he's the kind of player who just plays different builds. He has to against me because he knows he doesn't win if he chooses to play standard. I know he's gonna listen to this and say it's bullshit, but
Nobody had guessed Nesh in any of the games, so it's really unfortunate that I just spat that one out. And I knew it was going to happen. It's been so hard for me not to accidentally say people's names. All right, so I wanted to know from the player's perspective what it feels like for you. So, like, I give you guys instructions. You go and create a lobby. Some guy just kind of randomly shows up, right? And then you guys just play a game. And does it feel like almost like you're playing against like an unranked ladder player because you have no idea how good they are, but it's also a little bit interesting because you guys like probably know who each other is, right? So I was kind of curious just from the player's perspective what that kind of feels like for you.
well, as you mentioned, I know it's probably someone that I played against before, and we do try to play a little more standard the first game, and then try to guess who that is and change our play style in the later games. So in my game against Nesh, we played both very standard, and then I think he thought I was someone like Goose or and that's when he just wanted to try two port raid
Yeah.
because he could probably win with it. Yeah, it's not a very weird feeling to play in the tourney. It I have to say that it's a special experience because if I knew that I was playing against someone who's a lot better than me, like Dwalt or Bonnet, I would play very differently. But
Yeah.
regardless, I have no idea, and I would try a very standard game,
Yeah.
and which I did in my first matchup, but I didn't. If you remember, I went for a Hydra all-in against a product player. That was only because CVP on Litmus is just broken, and so it is in a knockout.
All right. Yeah.
It likes to expand, so I'm forced to play a late team. So
Well, I like that you mentioned that about how you play a little bit different because you're not sure of how good of the player you're playing against, right? And there are some very strong players in this tournament as well. So, yeah, it's been kind of interesting hearing that part from each player. So your next matchup is going to be, I think, another ZVP. Yeah. So you got another ZVP next. Are there any Protoss players that you would be worried about hitting here in the semifinals?
I kind of saw that game on stream today, and I think Flash was saying this was Bonnet probably,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he might be right.
So
I mean, it has to be either like Dwalt or Bonnet or Dragon even against I probably would just struggle in the matchup. So now that I mentioned that everyone tends to play standard in the first game,
mm-hmm.
I might think about playing a mental game and try to cheese,
Yeah.
like a 5-pull or something, even.
I think you're absolutely right, and we've seen that pretty much every single game, actually, now that you've mentioned it, and you got me thinking about it. I think every series, the first game is the most standard, while people are trying to feel each other out. So I actually think you're hitting the nail on the head there, and you might be the first one to actually notice that, from what I've heard. So that's pretty good awareness from you. And yeah, I like the
Yeah.
idea of trying to take advantage of that. That's a good idea.
But I honestly, I don't expect myself to win the series. I've seen the games. He has really good micro and good concepts.
Yeah, well, that's typical Kava for you. Low confidence. I think it comes from the inactivity as well, because you definitely tend to take some time off. But either way, you've made it into the semifinals, so you guarantee yourself $25. Yeah, good luck in your games, and congratulations so far making it to the semifinals.
All right, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. All right, good luck.
Now that you mentioned Nash,
Mm-hmm.
you have to tell me whether it's Nomad.
Okay.
You know what? I really wish it was someone as good as like Dragon or even Duel, but that's not possible, is it?
No, it's not. Yeah, I can tell you the answers now. If you're not planning on trying to guess for the 15, I've already kind of given you a bonus one, so it's up to you.
It's yeah, I don't care about the guessing games.
Okay.
But it could also be worst, maybe even. But I don't know. Who is
All right.
it?
All right. So your first game was against Nesh, as I said, and then yes, the player you just played was Nomad.
Oh, that's disappointing.
That was surprisingly a bit of a chatterbox, and that's after I cut it down quite a bit. He definitely had a lot to say, but I enjoyed it. I thought it
Yeah,
was a fun one.
that was really interesting. I didn't consider that the first game is gonna be standard just to feel things out. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I like the idea with the voice interviews as well, even if we don't have all of them. I think they're good. But I will have to leave, though. I appreciate you inviting me. This was fun just to get to talk about the games, and I'm sure you can discussed the last few games.
Absolutely.
There is a lot to say over here as well. Just a lot of interesting things about how Zeke won this, and maybe if this played the part that he didn't know it was Barnes. But as I said, I gotta go. So thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no problem.
And,
Thanks for joining me. It actually helps add to it quite a bit. I think having someone to chat with about it instead of kind of sitting here talking to myself. So I really appreciate you coming in and joining me. And yeah, this took way longer than I expected. There's just been a lot more to chat about than I thought there would be. Like I wrote out my list of like to-do lists, and I was like, oh, this is gonna take like 30 minutes. But then yeah,
Yeah.
it's just been a lot of fun chatting.
Yeah, it has been. It was certainly interesting. All right, see you guys.
All right, see you, man. All right, so just me here for the last little bit here, but we are getting close to wrapping it up. I'm gonna play the Bonneth interview next, and then we're pretty much done after that. Can talk about a couple more things that people said. I will say when Dragon played against Bonneth, when he talked to me afterwards, he was like kind of depressed or like frustrated, maybe not depressed, but like disappointed, I guess would be the better word, that he lost the way he did to Bonneth, because he really thought that he had just lost a range that way, and that was his guess, that he just lost a range. And then when I told him it was Bonneth, he was like, oh, I don't feel that bad at all anymore. So it may have even given him a little bit of confidence that he made Bonneth work for it, because maybe he, normally plays against Bonneth and has that mental block like a lot of us do when we play against these really good players. So I think that actually happened with a couple players where they found out they played someone really good and they're like, oh, that was actually competitive against a really, really high level player that I'm normally terrified of. So I think this tournament actually was like kind of healthy for a lot of people even. But all right, I'm going to load up the Bonneth interview and then we'll move on to kind of wrap up the show here. So this one's a lot shorter than the last one, so just be ready for that. And yeah, enjoy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Bonneth coming off of his win over his opponent. He is qualified for the semifinals here. First of all, Bonneth, congratulations on getting to the semifinals, guaranteeing yourself $25, and every win after this will double your payout. I was curious, I know before you said that you're going to be really bad at guessing your opponent, and you didn't even try the first round. Do you have any thoughts on who you may have just played, or anything about the game at all?
I have no idea. I'm terrible with memory, so I wouldn't be able to name 5 Protosses who could be competing at this event. So I'm just gonna come up with one of them that just popped into my mind. Let's go with ranged, but it's just a random call.
All right. So nothing really that you're basing that off of, just throwing a name out there. So your approach really isn't so much about trying to identify your opponent or style. So you're just kind of playing your own game, right? Just you have your kind of consistent, steady style, and that's just kind of what you're going with, or are you making any adjustments?
But there is that one part. While I don't really know and I don't really care who my opponent is, it feels very comfortable playing these games because they don't know who they are up against.
That's very
so
true.
I don't need these kind of very greedy builds or something that would put me under the pressure, some sort of frigate, etc. So yeah, that's nice to have normal games how they're supposed to go.
Yeah. It's actually funny you mentioned that, because believe it or not, you were one of the people that inspired me to do this tournament in the first place. I was actually talking with Wolfix about it, and we were kind of complaining because we were watching your games against Speed, and we were getting annoyed that you weren't playing with the same kind of confidence you did against Speed, and it kind of got me thinking about it, where I was like, well, what will happen if people are playing Bonneth and they don't think it's Bonneth, or like vice versa, and Bonneth isn't afraid of his opponent or isn't showing too much respect, right? So you were actually one of the main reasons that we came up with this tournament.
Nice, great to be inspiration.
What do you think of the competition so far? Has it felt kind of easy, or do you just not even really think about it? You just go through the games regardless?
I don't really whenever I go into maybe not all games, but most of the games I play games. Each of the game is unique, and I don't care if my opponent is Jaedong or it's what Jaedong Conan. I'm gonna treat the two Zergs the same. We both start with the same amount of workers, and just how the game evolves, I'm gonna adapt to it. So I don't play names, I don't play nicknames. I just play the situation that I have in my game.
That's good. That's a really strong approach, I feel like. Like a lot of people are kind of the other way around where like they're worried about who they're playing against or something like that. And I've actually, I've been asking everybody in the first round after they played like who they think they played against, and a lot of people are like really underguessing who their opponent is. Like everybody's guessing like way below the level of their opponent, which is kind of funny to me because even when we did the cast, right, a lot of people are like, oh, this guy's like actually not very good, or like he's making all these mistakes, and they don't realize that they're criticizing like a really strong opponent. So if anything, it kind of shows you how weak Foreign Brood War kind of is.
Well, it's kind of funny because when I play these anonymous tournament, I play wars in some places on purpose, so as to just not just reveal to simply that it is me who we're playing against. Like for example, it's just simple, worker micro at the beginning against opponents' workers.
Yeah, that's funny. I can tell you this without spoiling anything. You've actually had a couple of opponents, when they guessed who you were, they were guessing like Raz or Simi or something like that, or ranged. Yeah, so maybe your strategy is kind of working. They're guessing a much lower level opponent, right?
Yeah, and add to that like Forge Expand instead of a Gateway Expand. Yeah, that makes sense. I would guess something like that.
All right, well, I think I already know your answer, but I'm asking everybody else this anyway. So you got a PvP for your next round, right? Or no, sorry, PvZ. So you're coming up on a PvZ. Are there any Zerg players you're worried about, or is it still kind of like you're saying, you're just going to go through the games? Are you going to sandbag any for this, or do you think it's time to start taking a little more serious?
Well, since I don't know for sure who am I gonna play against, I'm just gonna play a typical PvZ and see what happens in a normal game, and from there, maybe adjust, maybe not, depending on how it goes.
All right, well, that's pretty much it for me. Well, that's good. I think I have a pretty good idea of your mindset going into this. A lot of the players were kind of talking about how they kind of like taking it easy sometimes because they underestimate their opponent, and there's actually been some players that lost because they thought they were against like Primal or something at one point. So yeah, it's been kind of funny. So yeah, congratulations on your win, and we'll be doing the semifinals and finals next Sunday, and that will be done live. So we'll be I'll be looking forward to your games.
All right, see you there.
All right, thank you. So that pretty much wraps up everything I got for you guys. One last little thing, I guess, is something Zeke said at the end of the tournament. I told him after it was all over, I told him, congratulations, and drop a single game. It looks like all that grinding and practice is paying off. And Zeke said, which I thought was pretty interesting, I hope so, but probably I avoided DeWalt. He is the hardest. Semi-final probably was against Bonneth. I will send my predictions tomorrow. So he genuinely believed that he didn't even play against DeWalt. But as we see here, he took down a lot of really, really strong players. I say a lot of strong players, but I mean, he dominated Bonneth, he dominated DeWalt. Looked really, really great going through this whole tournament. So hopefully that, like you guys are saying, does kind of boost his confidence a little bit. I think he's showing us, especially with his win over Icarus yesterday too. I mean, he's really, really looking on his A game, and he's kind of making me a fan, man. I'm rooting for him. I'd love to see him win BSL. But that's going to wrap it up here for me today. I don't think I really have anything else to cover with you guys, so I'm just going to go over a couple of things real quick to wrap this up. Where this tournament came from, this anonymous tournament, is going to be in the Discord, so if you want to join the Discord, join up here. This is where we continue running events. This is where you can keep up with everything. We are going to extend the season a little bit, so I was technically supposed to end it a few days ago on the 31st, but I am going to change that. I'm going to add probably another week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks, because there's 2 more events that I want to do before we wrap this all up. I have a BGH event that I want to do and a Micro Fastest tournament. If you want to see any of the VODs, both from anything that happens in the Coliseum, my Patreon is a really good place to go. Here is my Patreon. There's no paywall for any of this. The content's all right there, but this is just separating all my Coliseum stuff to specifically the Patreon, so you're not getting it mixed up with all my other content on YouTube. If you want to, show me direct support, you become a member to my Patreon. Just $1 a month. Actually does help a lot, especially like over time if enough people sign up. It's $1 for you, but 20, 30, 40 of you guys is 30, $40 for me. So that actually does a lot to help me. And as far as donating to the Discord, so this donation link is a little bit different. So the Patreon stuff, that goes directly into my pocket. It's just a little bit of money that you can kind of give me. But if you want to continue funding more events and more tournaments and stuff like that, this is where you can donate money. None of this goes into my pocket, or at least very, very little. I'm taking 10%, sometimes less. I actually lost money on this tournament specifically. A lot of people give me a hard time for it. I just want to keep putting out StarCraft stuff, you know, like this is what I enjoy, this is what I have a passion for. So if you donate me money there, that goes directly into a fund specifically for more StarCraft content and does not go into my pocket. So really appreciate the support, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed what we did here. This was really, really fun to do and really, really exhausting. I'm really happy to have this wrapped up. I'm pretty happy with how it all turned out. And I do have plans to do this again sometime in the future, 3-4 months, something like that. We're going to get a much higher production value. I've learned a lot, like I said, and we can kind of do a better version of what we did here today, or, you know, did for this event. But thank you for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed what we put out here. And I will see you guys on the next one. Have a good night, have a good evening, have a good day, depending on where you are. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace.